Hey, late good morning to you. It's 11:21 on this Thursday, and real quick, I do want to mention that I'm kind of playing around with different formats. I know last time in my format through Zoom, and my face was a little bit bigger. This is back through Canva. My face isn't as big. Sometimes I will continue to use my big touchscreen monitor in my home office. So just bear with me. I'll get this more standardized, I think, as we move forward. But I do want to get some information out to you. If you've been outside, you've seen some haziness out there. I'll get to that. Temperatures at 11 o'clock this morning at PDX were 70 degrees. Not really as warm as I thought it would be, but I still have to believe we're at least going to get up to around 90 degrees this afternoon. If we make it, it would become day 21 of 90-degree temperatures here in the Rose City. Hey, I'm beginning with this satellite with the upper level 500 millibar contours on it and the upper level low parked off of the Oregon and Washington coast, which will give us a southwesterly to southerly wind flow overnight tonight into tomorrow as that low does drop a little bit south and maybe snuggles up a little bit closer to Oregon. It's this low that may end up being a trigger for potential scattered or spotty thunderstorm activity later overnight tonight, mostly midnight or after here on the west side of our state, and then into the day tomorrow. And more on that coming up in a second. But remember, one of the big events that we take a lot of pride in here in our local region is the Hood to Coast Relay. It's quite unique, right? Known as the mother of all relays. A relay team started up at Timberline Lodge on Mount Hood early tomorrow morning, and then they run through the night and eventually end up in Seaside Saturday, during the day Saturday. So this morning at Timberline, it was 51 degrees. I think tomorrow morning temperatures are going to be fantastic, 53 to 57. I've done live shots up there where it's shockingly cold in the 30s, right? But tomorrow the temperature is going to be great. The question is, will we see some storm action fire along the Cascades overnight tonight and migrate north and potentially have a storm threat around Mount Hood tomorrow morning as some of the racers are trying to get going? Obviously, if there were to be thunderstorm activity up there in the morning, there would be some race delays as people would have to take shelter. So we're following that story. And with that said, courtesy of KGW TV, let me show you a couple of the latest Futurecast computer projections for storm activity overnight tonight into tomorrow morning. So what you're looking at here, Thursday, 10 o'clock this evening, notice a wave of cloudiness has already started moving up through our area from south to north, which is what those red arrows indicate, a south to north movement. But if you go up on the Oregon state line into Washington, that's a lot of cloudiness that developed overnight. Could have some rain shower activity with it. This particular model at 10 p.m. just shows in green a few specks of rain. But then as we go through the night, here we are at 5 a.m. Friday morning. Notice it shows some showers and thunderstorms, mainly in central Oregon, that have moved through the East Gorge up into Washington, and then mainly near or along the Oregon coast. But if this is correct, this Futurecast model does not show anything over the I-5 corridor to speak of or the Cascades. I will tell you, there are multiple models this morning that have shown some measurable precip into the 4 or 5 o'clock hour tomorrow morning over Portland. So it's certainly the potential that we could have some spotty storms and you would hear a rumble of thunder later tonight into early tomorrow morning. If you look at for those of you that are kind of weather buffs and you look at the thickness contouring, which can act as a moisture advection map, the moisture advection is over central Oregon tomorrow morning and is close to the Oregon coast. And in fact, lines up pretty much exactly where this modeling is showing a band of rain in central Oregon and a band of rain moving south and north along the coast. That's what the modeling is picking up on. But overall, we look to be pretty unstable. So I've got to think once we get a storm developing, which I think is likely, there will be a storm or two here on the west side, that we could have a ripple effect and you start seeing some spotty storms pop over the Cascades and over the valley. So again, 9 out of 10 times, you're probably not going to see any rain in your area, but maybe this is the one time you are in a spot where a thunderstorm develops. Let me show you one more map. This is 4 p.m. in the afternoon on Friday. It's showing scattered storms at this point, mainly near the Cascades and off to the east. But if you look at on the far left of the screen, that far left arrow, that is some potential showers and storms developing, in eastern Clackamas County, eastern Marion County, and rolling up potentially around Mount Hood tomorrow afternoon. So there's going to be a lot of activity, I think, overall to keep track of on the radar with this storm threat tonight through tomorrow. Okay, so we're watching that. We're also watching this. This is the watch warning map from our friends at the National Weather Service. The reddish tones there, basically a red flag warning along the west slope of the Cascades up over the summit, up toward the summit of the Cascades, I should mention. It's mostly west slopes of the mountains. And red flag warning, of course, means high fire danger. This is for this afternoon, tonight, and tomorrow morning. It may be extended into tomorrow afternoon. But it's supposed to, because temperatures are rising up into the 90s. We're losing any west wind flow component. We're getting into more of a light north to east wind. That'll lower relative humidity factors. Drier air lifts fire danger. And then if we get some storms, the potential for fire starts from lightning. So that's what's going on with the red flag warning. And then the gray shade over to Deschutes County and Bend and Redmond, air quality alert, still an issue for wildfire smoke or haze in those areas. Now at 11:15, I grabbed this air quality map off of the Oregon. I know, I live in Southwest Washington too, in the Oregon DEQ page, and all the green dots from Salem up into Portland, that's all green. That's all good air quality, despite the wildfire haze that we have in the sky. Air quality is good. Over in Central Oregon, the dots are mainly yellow. That's moderate air quality. There's still some very unhealthy air when you get down just south of Grants Pass, that purple dot where it's 291. I did look at the Washington DEQ information. The air quality is good in Vancouver and also good up into the Kelso, Longview area. So that, despite the fact that you will notice some wildfire haze, not only today, but for the coming days. These are live cameras I grabbed shortly after 11 o'clock from my live camera network on my weather site, which I encourage you to use as a resource, portlandweather.com. The Oregon, end of the Oregon Trail Interpretive Center, top left in Oregon City, little haze, but not too bad. And then jump to the far right, Aspen Lakes Golf Course over in Sisters. And if you look, you could see the Three Sisters. We've had more days than not over the past month where the Sisters area in particular was so socked in with wildfire haze that you could not see the mountains at all. So that's a little bit of an improvement there for you folks today. So happy to report that. And actually, we're not as filled with wildfire haze in the sky at 11 o'clock this morning as we were earlier today. So a little noticeable haze, but overall not too bad. And temperatures, again, the big story for the daytime hours of today, expected to rise up to 90 degrees. I want to show you one more map, and then I'm going to jump to the 7-day. One thing you're going to notice on the 7-day is what I feel like is a likely chance of fairly widespread measurable rainfall Tuesday of next week. Why? So the models for several days have shown this. This is the European model, but the American models are similar. This shows an upper level trough with an upper level low, the L, pushing down into the Pacific Northwest, and the pressure height is 573. Remember, sometimes I talk about the fact that your rain chances get much better once that pressure falls below a 576 millibar contour. So I've got to believe that doesn't change. That's fairly widespread. I'm not talking heavy rain, but I am talking the chance of at least some measurable rainfall. Maybe a tenth of an inch. That'd be fantastic if it were fairly widespread and we had some rain showers in the area for a handful of hours. I think that is something we're definitely pinning our hopes to at this point for Tuesday of next week. Okay, with that said, here's the 7-day. On track to at least hit 90 this afternoon, and we could go as high as 94, hazy and hot, overnight tonight into tomorrow, the spotty thunderstorm chance we talked about. Assuming it's mostly sunny most of the time tomorrow, we still get up to 90 or 92. Forecast models give us the hottest potential on Saturday, 95. And I mentioned this the other day, and it's still showing up. Not a great chance for scattered storms Sunday afternoon, evening, but nonetheless, there is an opportunity there for some late day storms that I'm monitoring. That's Sunday evening. Then Monday's dry and cooler, 87. And then the big drop at that upper level trough that I showed you a moment ago on Tuesday. Clouds, some measurable showers, fingers crossed, we get that. Highs in the 70s. And then a change to the forecast has that rain chance only developing into Tuesday morning. And then a dry Wednesday of morning clouds, afternoon sun, and 78 degrees. Be nice to get back to the 70s for a couple of days. Okay. So that's what I'm watching, especially if you're a hood to coast runner. Make sure you have an eye to the sky and check the latest forecast. I'm sure they'll be announcing any thunderstorms threat, any thunderstorm threat up on the mountain tomorrow morning. Okay. I'll talk to you soon. Thanks for using my YouTube page. I'm Rod Hill.